My wife said, "I love your brother more than you." I said, "Okay." Then I called my lawyer, took half of everything, and told his wife what they'd been doing. I smiled because their lives were about to fall apart at the family barbecue next weekend. A 35 male had been with Jessica 33 for 8 years, married for 5, when she said the words that ended everything. We met at a friend's birthday party in Denver. She was a teacher, I worked in construction management. We had a simple life, nothing fancy, but I thought we were happy. My brother Connor, 38, had always been the golden child in our family. Better looking, more successful, more charming. He was a real estate agent who made good money and drove an expensive car. He married his high school sweetheart Amy when he was 25. They had 2 kids together, lived in a big house in the suburbs, and everyone thought they were the perfect couple. Connor and I were close growing up. We played sports together, helped each other through tough times, and stayed in touch as adults. Our families got together every month for dinners and holidays. Jessica and Amy became friends. Our parents loved having everyone together. It felt like we had this great, close family. Then one Tuesday night in March, Jessica came home from work looking stressed. She'd been distant for weeks, always on her phone, working late, making excuses not to spend time with me. I thought maybe she was having problems at school or dealing with difficult parents. I never suspected what was really going on. She sat down at the kitchen table and just said it. No build-up, no explanation. "I love Connor more than you. I'm sorry, but I can't pretend anymore." I stood there holding a dish towel, completely frozen. "What did you just say?" "I'm in love with Connor. We've been seeing each other for 3 months. I didn't mean for it to happen, but it did. I need to be honest with you. 3 months. A quarter of a year. All those late nights. All those times she said she was at teacher conferences or girls' nights with Amy. She was with my brother. Does Amy know?" I asked quietly. "No. And Connor's trying to figure out how to tell her. This is hard for everyone. Hard for everyone. Like she was the victim here. Like she and my brother were the ones suffering." "Okay," I said simply. She looked surprised. "Okay, that's all you have to say." "What do you want me to say, Jessica? You just told me you've been sleeping with my brother for 3 months. You want me to cry? Beg you to stay?" "I'm not going to do that. I thought you'd be more upset." "I am upset, but yelling at you won't change anything. You made your choice. Now I'll make mine." I walked out of the kitchen, grabbed my keys, and left. I drove to a hotel and checked in for the night. Then I called my lawyer, Paul, who'd helped me with some contract issues at work. "Paul, I need a divorce lawyer. The best one you know. My wife is having an affair with my brother, and I want to move fast." Paul was quiet for a second. "Your brother? Jesus. Okay, I know someone. Her name is Lisa Chun. She's tough, and she doesn't mess around. I'll text you her number right now." I called Lisa that night. She answered even though it was almost 9 o'clock. I explained everything, and she listened without interrupting. "Here's what we're going to do," she said when I finished. "Tomorrow morning, you're going to go to the bank and withdraw half of everything in your joint accounts. That's your legal right. Then you're going to document every shared asset you have. I'll file divorce papers by end of week. We'll cite adultery, which in Colorado can affect how assets are divided. You're going to come out of this in the best position possible. What about my brother's wife? Should I tell her? That's up to you. Legally, it doesn't matter. Personally, she deserves to know." I thanked her and hung up. Then I sat in that hotel room and felt everything hit me at once. My wife didn't love me. My brother had betrayed me. My whole family was about to explode. But underneath the pain, I felt something else. Anger. Cold, focused anger. The next morning, I went to the bank when it opened. Jessica and I had a joint checking account with about $12,000 and a joint savings with $30,000. I withdrew $6,000 from checking and $15,000 from savings. My half. Then I went home while Jessica was at work and started documenting everything. Photos of our furniture, our TV, our appliances. Receipts for things I'd paid for. I was thorough. Jessica called me that afternoon. The bank called me. "You took money out of our accounts." I took my half. "You should be happy you still have yours. We need to talk about this like adults." "We're past talking, Jessica. My lawyer will contact you soon." She started crying. "I know I hurt you, but this doesn't have to be ugly. We can work this out fairly. It's already ugly. You made it ugly when you slept with my brother. Now we deal with the consequences." I hung up. Then I called Amy, my brother's wife. My hands were shaking when I dialed. "Hey," she answered cheerfully. "What's up?" "Amy, I need to tell you something." Can you talk privately? Sure, the kids are at school. What's wrong? You sound serious. I am serious. Jessica told me last night that she's been having an affair with Connor for 3 months. Silence. Complete silence for at least 10 seconds. What? Her voice was barely a whisper. I'm sorry. I know this is horrible, but you deserve to know. They've been lying to both of us. No. No, Connor wouldn't. We have kids. We have a life. He wouldn't do this. I'm sorry, Amy. But he did. Jessica admitted everything. They're planning to be together. I heard her start crying. Then the phone cut off. She'd hung up. I felt terrible for her, but she needed to know the truth. The next few days were chaos. Connor called me screaming, saying I had no right to tell Amy. I told him he had no right to sleep with my wife and hung up. Jessica moved out and stayed with her sister. Amy kicked Connor out of their house. My parents called, confused and upset, trying to understand what was happening. I explained everything to my parents calmly. My dad was quiet, which meant he was furious. My mom cried and kept saying she couldn't believe Connor would do this. I told them about the divorce, about taking my half of the money, about moving forward. We're having the family barbecue on Saturday, my mom said quietly. Your aunt and uncle are coming, and your cousins. We planned this months ago. I know, Mom. Are you still coming? Yes. I'll be there. What about Connor and Jessica? That's up to them. But I'm not hiding. I didn't do anything wrong. Saturday came. The family barbecue was at my parents' house, like always. It was a beautiful day, sunny and warm. My aunt and uncle were already there when I arrived. So were my cousins. Everyone knew something was wrong because my mom had told them there was a situation, but hadn't given details. I walked in carrying a case of beer and acting normal. My aunt hugged me and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. My dad was at the grill, and he nodded at me. That was his way of showing support. Then Connor arrived. Without Amy. Without his kids. He walked into the backyard and saw me standing there. His face went red. You told Amy, he said loudly. Everyone stopped talking. You were sleeping with my wife? I replied calmly. Yes, I told Amy. She deserved to know. My uncle stepped forward. What the hell is going on here? My dad turned from the grill. Connor has been having an affair with Jessica for 3 months. That's what's going on. You could hear a pin drop. My aunt's mouth fell open. My cousins looked shocked. My uncle looked at Connor with disgust. Connor, is this true? My aunt asked. Connor looked around at everyone staring at him. It's not that simple. You don't understand. Jessica and I fell in love. These things happen. These things happen. My dad's voice was cold. You betrayed your brother. You destroyed your marriage. You hurt your kids. And you're standing here saying these things happen. Where's Jessica? My mom asked me quietly. She's not coming. We're getting divorced. Jessica actually showed up 10 minutes later. I guess Connor had told her to come, thinking they'd face the family together. She walked into the backyard, and everyone turned to look at her. The judgment on their faces was clear. Jessica, I think you should leave, my mom said firmly. I'd never heard my mom speak to anyone like that. I just wanted to explain. There's nothing to explain. You had an affair with my son while married to my other son. Leave. Now. Jessica looked at me, like I was supposed to defend her. I just took a sip of my beer and looked away. She left crying. Connor tried to defend himself, but nobody wanted to hear it. My uncle told him he was disappointed. My aunt said she couldn't believe he'd do this to his family. My cousins just shook their heads. Even my mom, who usually made excuses for Connor because he was her firstborn, told him he needed to leave and think about what he'd done. Connor left angry, yelling about how everyone was against him and nobody understood. The barbecue continued without them. It was awkward at first, but then everyone rallied around me. They asked if I was okay, told me I deserved better, offered to help however they could. My dad pulled me aside later. I'm proud of how you're handling this. You kept your dignity. That matters. Thanks, Dad. Connor's going to lose everything. Amy's filing for divorce too. He'll lose the house, time with his kids, probably half his business. And he'll lose this family's respect. That's not coming back. He was right. Over the next few months, I watched Connor's life fall apart. Amy divorced him and got primary custody of their kids plus child support. She got the house. Connor had to move into a small apartment. His real estate business suffered because word got around about what he'd done, and people in our community didn't want to work with him. Jessica realized pretty quickly that being with Connor wasn't the fairy tale she'd imagined. He was bitter, broke, and angry all the time. They fought constantly. She tried to reach out to me a few times, hinting that she'd made a mistake. I ignored her. My divorce was finalized in 6 months. I got half of everything, just like Lisa promised. I kept the house because Jessica didn't want to fight for it. I moved on with my life. Started dating again eventually. Focused on work and my friendships. Connor and Jessica broke up after 8 months. Turns out an affair based on lies and betrayal isn't a strong foundation for a relationship. Who knew? Last I heard, Jessica moved to another state. Connor still lives in Denver, but we don't speak. My parents see him occasionally because he's still their son, but the relationship is damaged forever. The family barbecue still happens every year. Connor doesn't come anymore. Nobody invites him. Amy brings the kids sometimes, and everyone's happy to see them. My aunt always makes sure to ask how I'm doing. My uncle tells me I dodged a bullet. My cousins include me in everything. I'm doing fine now. Better than fine, actually. I have my house, my job, my real family who stood by me. Connor has a broken marriage, damaged relationships with his kids, and a family that lost respect for him. Jessica has nothing but regret and a ruined reputation. They both made their choices. They chose betrayal, lies, and selfishness. I chose dignity, honesty, and moving forward. And when their lives fell apart at that family barbecue, I just smiled. Because I knew karma was real, and it was just getting started with them.